One of the main arguments for the Quad Cortex is that it's so easy to use and the UI is excellent. So how long does it take me to create 3 usable tones for a track? Let's find out. So what you just heard is actually from the future, because I haven't recorded it yet. Now that's because I'm going to try and make 3 usable tones that I can eventually record that track with. Now this isn't a comparison video. I wish I had a Fractal Axe Effects and a Line 6, but the QC is the only thing that I actually own. So yeah, if any of those companies want to reach out and send me some stuff to try, I'd be hugely grateful. And then I could make a comparison video. But that's not what this is. This is just to show how quickly I can make tones to use in my recordings. Now, for those of you that have seen my videos before, you'll know that I usually put my tones into the Cortex cloud so that you can download them. I'm going to do the same with these. But at the same time, this video is to show you how easy it is to make them yourself, so why not give it a go yourself first? So talking of Cortex Cloud, I was on there the other day and I noticed I've got quite a few people following me on there, and that must be from these YouTube videos. I don't know where else it would be from. So thanks a lot, but those of you that are following me on there and aren't subscribing on my YouTube channel, please make sure to do that. And if it is your first time here today, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you can be notified about more videos coming soon. I think about 95% of my viewers are not subscribed, so yeah, it would really help out. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's start making some tones. So it's a bit strange doing it this way because you've heard the finished track at the beginning of the video, and at this point in time I haven't actually made it yet. It's just the magic of editing. But essentially what I want to do is make 3 tones. So a clean tone, sort of edge of breakup, clean, ambient, lots of effects as like an intro. And then I've got some drums already made in Get Good Drums, Modern and Massive 2. And I'm going to play some sort of heavier, chuggy guitars underneath that. So we're going to need a distorted overdrive sound, not overdrive, like dirty sound. And then I'm going to just put a soaring lead over the top of that. So that'll be lots of effects and yeah, real bright lead tone. So for the first part, the clean, we're going to do that first. I'm going to use my Strat. Now, the first thing to note when you're making these, so if you look in here, Cortex Control, you want to set your input levels. So here I've got input 1 level. When I'm using a Strat, I'm always plus 5 decibels. Now I bring that down to -2 when I'm using my PRS because it's humbuckers. You just got to find the sweet spot yourself. But yeah, basically this line here, you want to be sort of nudging up against that on the loudest you will play. So I just usually, maybe even palm mutes as well with humbuckers, they're usually the loudest thing. Sort of give some chugging palm mutes and you'll see that you might go into the red here, so just pull back your input level, get that set, and I just remember it for each guitar and then use it each time. So yeah, you do that first, and then you're going to want a blank canvas. So I am always going to outputs 3 and 4, that's just how my interface is set up. But you'll see in a minute I might not even use that output on that lane there. Okay, so yeah, let's just dive straight into it. We need an amp first. So for a clean tone, I really like a matchless, especially for that edge of breakup. So we go channel 1 on the Matchmore D30. Okay, and then I'll just match the cab to it. So we're going to use stereo for this. Where is it? Match D30. Let's just use Sig A stereo. So 2x12. Okay, so that's going to be the core of your tone. You can see there's a bit of a grit to a matchless. So our volume's on 4. Now, amp settings do what you want with them, because at the end you can always go on the output and just bring it down in volume here. Basically you want to again be hitting this line here on your loudest hits. See, I've got plenty of room there, so I could even go some on the master. And also, sort of, if you're using it for one particular tone, I'm going to do something like... So just play it how you're playing and then see where it goes up to on here and adjust your volume there. Now this, don't quote me, but I don't think this is affecting your tone at all when you adjust the volume here. It is if you use the master volume here. So that's the big knob that's on the actual QC. That's going to attenuate it a bit. So I never really go below like 75% on that. But to be honest, I never touch it. I don't know why I said that. I literally never touch that there. There's no need to. Maybe for live, or if you're using the QC as an interface, because then I think that knob is basically your monitor. So you'll use it then. But yeah, I never touch it. I leave that there. If you're direct monitoring, which I am through my interface, you can always, say you're playing along to a backing track and you're too loud, you can always just pull down, I'll show you in here, universal control, whatever interface you're using should have the software. I would just pull these down because that's my monitor volume. Or if you're software monitoring, just turn it down here. Okay, so yeah, don't adjust those. Let's just keep building the tone. I think I'll set that back to how it was normally. I'd like a bit more bass in my clean tone, so we're going to go +6 on that. So now I would say some effects, or even maybe a boost. We'll see in a minute. Now what I normally do for effects is I route this output to row 3. And then I'm going to add, let's use this new... well, it's not new anymore, but newish microprocessor. Then you need your output on this channel. It's pretty cool. We're going to sync that. That's a really nice tone. Yeah, let's stick with that for now. And then let's use our new, now this is fairly new, this one, the Blossom. Very nice. Let's pull it back a little bit. That's a pretty nice tone. There we go. Very, very quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of a boost in front of it. So I like doing this with most of my clean tones, to be honest. I'm going to use that, pull the gain right back, and then we're going to go up 7. It's really pushing that then. Let's pull back our volume a little, clean it up a bit. Now this is where you would then increase your volume here. Maybe pulled it back too far. Okay, so as you can see there, that's just sort of kissing that line there. Now, I can't remember, is that, I think that line is possibly -6 dB, or it might be -12. But basically, when you're recording into a DAW, you want to be between -12 and -6 dB. And that's why when a lot of people get the QC to begin with, they think it's quite quiet. But it's because it's giving you the perfect level for recording, really, because you want that headroom for post-processing. So I check in my DAW as well. I use a Waves Paz meter, which shows me my peaks. You can also use the VU meter for your overall loudness. But yeah, you want to be around sort of -12 to -6 with no peaks going over -6. And I think that's what this does here. So yeah, as long as you're sort of budging up against that line but not going into the red, you should be good. So yeah, with this recording, we're going to save this tone anyway. That I'm happy with that. But in terms of the recording, all I've got on there is Get Good Drums, Modern and Massive 2. And on the master, I've got Ozone. And I just use the AI assistant on there and set it to whatever the style of music is. So in this case, it's probably going to be metal. And yeah, that's all I have on the whole project. I just make sure I'm gain staging correctly in the QC and we're all good. So yeah, let's save this one and then go on to the next tone. Okay, so just quickly before we get into the dirty track, my camera just died. So I have added 2 extra things on the clean track. I'm going to show you what they are. So we have the boost there, the poly octaver. Okay, so my dry is at 100%, and then I've got an octave at 50%, and then I've just pulled back the sub a bit, and that's on. So it sounds like this. I've got a different guitar in my hands, but I just feel like it really works well as an intro. And then we have just a myth drive here. So if I turn the octave off and then put this on. Again, you can assign these to pedals if you wanted. It's a great sounding pedal, so that's obviously based on a Klon. I have my gain, I think everything's the same actually, how it comes. I've just pulled back to -2.5. Is that -2.5? Oh no, just 2.5. Yeah, because it's quite hot, that pedal, when you put it on first time. And then again, check your outputs. This might be different because it's a different guitar, but I have changed my my input level to -2 now, which is what I said to do with your guitar. So just match what your pickups are hitting the line with. Cool, so what's this saying now? Yeah, you can see the output level down there, perfect. Okay, so that's the clean track. Let's move on to a brand new track here. So again, I think for this one, for a distorted tone, it's pretty easy to just have it on one lane. So I'm gonna do it to output 3 now. So we're gonna go in mono. Now the reason I do this is because I like to record multi-tracks of the same recording when it comes to overdriven sort of dirty tones. So I record in mono, I use a mono cab block, and then I pan it left and right once I've recorded it, just to give it that 2 guitarists feel. And yeah, it just adds width to the recording. So I always do that with distorted tones. So we're going to do mono for this one. Now, when you're monitoring then, if you've got it set to stereo here, you're going to want to turn them single again, because otherwise you're going to be hearing out of one speaker when you're monitoring. But anyway, let's get an amp. Now, I haven't actually tried this one. I might have tried the capture. Oh, that's another thing. I'm not going to use anything outside of the stock QC stuff. I'm not even going to use their captures. I'm just going to use the amp blocks. Other than the bass, when we do the bass, I'm using parallax because parallax is king. So if you haven't got parallax, yeah, you want to get it. For bass, definitely. If you're using a QC anyway. But yeah, let's try out this Victor Squid. So this is based on the Kraken, I believe. We'll use channel 2. I'm going to go to EL34s. And from that, you can hear we're going to need a noise gate. So I always just go on the input here, click that on. Let's go a bit higher on this. And then yeah, we're set. Let's get a cab. I'm going to use a Marshall cab for this. Where are we? We need Brit, don't we? Oh, mono as well. Let's go. Let's go with this one, the Brit 60B GB90s in mono. And yeah, just straight out the bat, see how that sounds. Sounds pretty good to me. So you can see going into the red there with my palm mutes. So I quite like the amp tone, so let's just pull back our volume a bit. That's better. Do I want to change anything about that? Let's add a bit more treble. Let's throw a tube screamer in front. That's what metal is doing it. So we want the green 808. Pull back the drive a bit, add some tone. That sounds better. Sounds good to me. We'll pull the bass. Did I turn the bass up? No, that was on the clean one, wasn't it? We'll pull the bass back a bit, and this gain, because we're getting some drive from this now. Sounds pretty good. I like that. I like that quite a lot. Focus on. Don't know what that does. Tell me in the comments, what does that do? Okay, we can add a bit more volume now. Again, I'm chugging just to make sure I'm at the right level. So yeah, I'm going to play something like that. Okay, let's go with that. I think that sounds good. Actually, normally I would put maybe an EQ. So let's do that at the end. We'll use the Graphic 9. Now, there is a plug-in Graphic 9 here. I think you use that with the plugins. I don't know what the difference is, but let's try. It's pretty tight. Okay, I'm going to save that one there. So that is our dirty tone. And just to reiterate, it is the Victor Squid Channel 2 with EL34s. And we are using the Brit 60B cab. So we're using 4x12 90s Marshall cab of some sort. Okay, so we're into our final guitar tone now. I'll quickly show you what I do with the bass, but we're going to find a lead tone. So yeah, we've gone back to stereo. So I'm monitoring in stereo now, and our multi-out will be 3 and 4 instead of 3 now, like the last one. Cool, let's get an amp. Okay, we're doing a lead track, so what about the Brit 900 lead? And let's use the same cab we did for the other one, but we'll do it in stereo now. What was it, the Brit? It was the 90s, wasn't it? Where is it? Here, that one. Okay, we'll try output 3 and 4. It's quite clear. That with a distortion or overdrive in front of it could be really nice, but we're again going to route that to row 3. And basically what we're doing is we're splitting the two halves of the cores. So your CPU, which is down here, is going to handle better when you spread it half and half, essentially. So these 2 rows and then these 2 rows. Okay. So on this row now, we can put output 3 and 4. And we're going to use a tape delay in stereo. And then for some soaring leads, we don't need another cab. That's definitely not what we need. We need a reverb. Let's go for Cave. Sounds pretty nice to me already. Let's put an overdrive in front. SD1. That's pretty nice. OD250. Yeah, we're using that one. That sounds great. Bit more gain, and then we can start gain staging. That's how quick it is. It's very, very quick to get a good tone. Let's pull the mix down on that a bit. Cave decay. So yeah, when we gain staging for these, if I'm using this tone as one specific tone, I will just play how I'm going to play that lead and then make sure my level's just hitting here. But in a live situation, I'd probably, you know, if I was using that lead or maybe the overdrive channels or even the clean throughout a song, I would probably just make sure I play the hardest that I would while using that patch. And then, yeah, just level that to the hardest you're going to play during that patch. But in this case, it's pretty easy because it's going to be standard across the board because I'm just recording this particular tone on this one track. So I just make sure I play a lead like I will be. You could also use the output on your amp here, because that's going to be different to master. I'd imagine doing that is the same as just raising this volume. I'm not sure. Try it. That looks like a good level to me. I don't want to push it too far. But yeah, it sounds great. Let's see what it sounds like on the neck pickup. Enough gain for some fast stuff and enough clarity. So yeah, I'm going to save that one. So that's our 3 guitar tones. How quick was that? Have a look on the video timestamp. Okay, so obviously you've been hearing each of these presets that we've been making stacking on top of each other, on top of the drums. That's probably backwards to how I would do it. I would always record the bass first. So maybe I should have showed you the bass first. But yeah, now it's going to glue it all together and it's going to sound a lot fatter. And actually, no, this is probably the best way to do it, because now you're going to hear pretty much exactly what you heard at the beginning of the video, but it's worth hearing it again with everything in context after you've heard it bit by bit, stacking on top of each other. So this is the bass, and this is literally all I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Directory, Plugins, Parallax. There's one that I've favorited that I use a lot of the time for this sort of stuff. There we go, bass riffs. And my input volume, I usually have the same as my Strat for the bass. So 5. Went red a bit there, but I did hit very hard. And that's it. I'm gonna go multi out. No, we're not. We're gonna go output 3 and 4. And then okay, so you don't want to hear me playing too much bass, but that is literally all I do. Parallax for the win for bass, for sure. If you made it all the way through the video, thanks so much for watching, guys. Please consider subscribing and liking the video if you got something out of it. And I'm Joe Garrett. I will see you in the next one.